Customers are moving faster than our calendars. In 2025, discovery, newness, and value are table stakes. Yet most supply chains haven't caught up. Today, we'll unpack how AI shortens design to shelf and where to start. Welcoming today, we have Farooq Adam, the co-founder of Fynd, who will be helping us understand how Fynd's design and sourcing platform can help brands go from design to shelf literally in 21 days. Thank you so much, Farooq Adam, for being here today. For those who don't know, Farooq is the co-founder of Fynd, and he has joined us today for a very exciting talk. Thank you so much for being here, Farooq.
My pleasure, Ragini.
Today, we are going to discuss a very important thing that I have come to know about Fynd. It's Fynd's fashion design and sourcing platform that you guys have launched. Our audience typically consists of people who are founders or who want to launch something of their own. We would love for you to tell us what was the idea behind Fynd sourcing platform, why was it launched, and anything and everything that you could tell us about it. So let's go.
All right. Thank you so much for having me again, Ragini. We launched this early this year, but the work started almost 2 years back. We looked at the fashion value chain, from spotting trends to making designs to sourcing fabric to manufacturing, and then finally pushing it into our stores. What we realized was this whole process needed a complete overhaul. This process was built over multiple decades, and it was completely siloed with different types of software, different type of teams, and all of these were like broken workflows. We wanted to kind of relook at it and see how do we bring it to today, make it more AI native, and make it end-to-end seamless for any founder who's wanting to run a fashion brand.
So typically right now, how do retailers work in this segment when it comes to, say, designing a collection or sourcing products? What is a typical life cycle?
So if I look at Indian brands, I'm guessing it takes 150 to 200 days from kind of taking an idea of something that they want to make and bring it to market. If you look at global sourcing supply chains, that period could also extend to 1.5 years because they're kind of trying to bring demand from across the world and plan for that. And you're kind of trying to predict what is going to happen 2 years into the future. And hence you're kind of bringing demand globally to make it happen.
So to predict 2 years into the future, and how does this happen? Are there any tools that are present? Is this all manual work?
There are a bunch of tools available. There's a complete trend of data that is available. But you can never be sure, right? 2 years into the future, how can you predict anything, right? If you're sitting in 2020 and you could have predicted what would happen with COVID, no one can do that. And that's the biggest challenge brands are facing today. You're trying to predict a future which is so distant, it's almost impossible to predict. And customers, Gen Zs, want something new, fresh today. And it needs to be in the moment. It needs to be fresh as of now. I don't know how brands can do it if they do not adopt a more data-driven, a more AI-driven approach to doing things. To give an example, like a movie becomes big, it becomes a trend. And now you need to kind of go about making a collection for that. You can't wait for 150 days for your supply chain to react to make that happen. You need to make that happen in a few weeks. There are times when you need to do it in a few days. And it cannot happen if you do not completely crunch your timelines, you completely crunch your ways of working and go from kind of a thought to design in a matter of weeks.
So you rightly said, right? Customers want everything now. Gen Z specifically, when they go to a store, they do not want to see old collections that they have been seeing, say, a week prior also. And we have seen a lot of brands do that, especially in India. We have seen brands like Blue Orange, Jaywalking drop new collections, new drops, right? So firstly, what I want to understand is, where did you see the white space here? What was the first sort of idea that you had that, this is something that we can do quickly and then eventually we can keep changing the product?
So it started way back in 2022. And we were looking at, how do we bring AI in design and really explode the number of options a brand has, right? Today, a brand is constrained by the output of his designer, his or her designer.
And what would that typically be, number of output in a month?
Well, like a designer, a high throughput designer could probably make a few dozen designs, right? And it's not like just the design, but the design, tech pack, end to end, which is required for the manufacturers to make.
And currently all of this process is manual.
By and large, so it's not manual in the truest sense. There are tools, but they are all kind of their own islands, right? I mean, you'll start something like with maybe pen and paper, goes into illustration, then it goes on to some tech pack software, and then it goes into another, maybe sometime by emails or just WhatsApp, sharing with your vendors. So all of this creates multiple places of data. You don't really have a view of how things will come together. And what I call, this is called, software drudgery, right? I mean, the main work is to make the design, but other than making the design, you're kind of stuck into this software.
The constant
drudgery.
loop of feedback that you have to get in terms of designs, in terms of changing the designs, and everything right now is manual.
Very manual, very time consuming. The real work of the designer might be, few hours, but then the work around the work is more than the outcome itself. So in 2022, a bunch of AI models were made available through which you could make designs, right? And you could make designs which were unique, right? There was a lot of threat initially where this is like, is it going to be copyright issues? Are we going to have plagiarism issues, right? All of that is kind of settled down because now prompts are really creating really new designs in some sense. And the idea over there then was very simple, right? I mean, if you have an idea, that idea in your mind is a prompt, is a text. What could we do to make that idea come across as real outputs, which then can be selected by the brand itself rather than the designers themselves, right? So how do we shrink that and use the designers for more creative output, bring new silhouettes, new cuts, new patterns which are kind of really cutting edge, and really create a design explosion, right? And what we also thought was, right, if you kind of cut down the number of steps taken from the idea to it getting into a tech pack, not only you move faster, you can even react faster to your competition. You can react faster to the market's need.
So tell me something, when you say that there is design explosion, my first question to would be, how would you take the brand's identity and merge it with AI? What is the process behind that? That is the question that I would like for you to answer.
For a brand, when they start working with us, of course, we have a detailed data request from the brand itself to understand, who they are, what they want to do. But a lot of what the brand is actually embedded in the previous collections that they have made. So one of the things that we do is we actually take a look at the complete collections, and so we decide, what to do, what not to do. We fine tune a model on top of that, so that we give output that is close to what they want. And we work closely with them to set up the guardrails, right? And the guardrails are, what not to do, right? Who not to be. And that's kind of an iterative process. This is where, real human taste comes in. And this is where we want to work very closely with brands who want to evolve that taste, right? This cannot be replaced by AI, right? We have to guide AI to make that happen.
No, so is it only for brands who have made their collection previously, or you also help people who are just starting out? Say, I want to open a brand tomorrow and I have the capital to do so. Can I do it with Fynds?
Brands who want to start up, this is probably the best way for you to start, right? I mean, you will start with a modern process. You will start with a modern workflow. And I would also urge you not only to make, collections with us, you should also start thinking of, how do we start selling before you make it, right? If you have a design explosion with us, right, instead of making 10 designs, you'll make hundreds of designs, but you'll probably only send 10 for production and 90 will be kind of, if it's like a, super drop, you'll say, register your interest, or, it's an early buy. And based on that demand, only then you manufacture. If you can start doing, selling before,
similar to the likes of, say, Urbanic, Shein, that they are.
I mean, now that's kind of the, the sheenification of fashion.
Sheenification of fashion. That's a new word. We've never heard it before.
Sheenification of fashion for pretty much everyone, right? And if it's happening with a lot of on-demand things, why not, fashion on demand, right? Why not?
Fashion on demand. That's really exciting. You mentioned, right, if trend cycles run in weeks, a 150-day entire process, the collection is far behind, right? Do you think that people in India are still accepting this, considering, have you started selling this product already?
Oh yeah, we have got early traction both in India and globally. I mean, because of NDA reasons, I cannot reveal anyone's name, but touchwood, the traction has been phenomenal. We've demonstrated our capabilities in the last few collections for some leading brands. So this is all happening as we speak.
And are these collections also live? Did you get the first?
Oh yeah, things are selling in stores. I mean, as a technology company, it's so awesome for us to say, we are now making clothes also. As the cost of building software kind of decreases and we move, from software thinking on to kind of owning the whole value chain, it's fascinating to see, making clothes, and something which I wouldn't have imagined a year back.
Wow. So again, the 150-day cycle, you have reduced the process. You have gone to design explosion. Now that is the Fynd design bit, right? So if you have to summarize what we spoke about in like say 30 seconds, what does Fynd design platform do? And then how does the sourcing bit come into the picture? So first, let's just summarize the Fynd design bit.
Think of it like your AI co-pilot for a fashion brand, right?
Okay.
Create designs from trends to tech packs.
Is this as a service currently, or are you guys?
It's available as a service. We do not want to make a typical SaaS product because we want to give it as an AI agent system. We're still trying to perfect that. We're not still there yet, so we don't want to give it away as a product in the classic SaaS sense.
Was there any way that the designer said that this is going to take away my creativity? I do not want to work in an AI tool. Did you face that?
Absolutely not. I mean, we have a bunch of designers in-house. Their productivity has gone through the roof. But where their value is, that doesn't change at all. They still decide what needs to be made. They still decide, how it needs to be made. That human element is required. End of the day, we are making products for humans, and humans will have to decide what humans like. No matter how much data you have, no matter how many AI systems you have, someone has to still decide, and designers play that critical role for us.
And in how much time do you think that designs could be made? You mentioned hundreds of designs in weeks. So what is like the throughput, and how many designs usually get selected by brands?
Typically, for us to kind of understand a brand, to understand what it is, it takes us a few days, and it's not so much from an AI perspective. It's more for us to understand the ethos of the brand. After that, it takes a few days to create this design explosion. We are working on this innovation where this design studio that we call, it will have a wide mode where one prompt itself will give me hundreds of outputs, and you can kind of go around playing in those variations and selecting those variations. I think the outcome is not so much of a constraint today. It's more about what the human curator essentially then provides it to the brand, right? I mean, AI can make thousands almost instantly. It's just the ones that finally get curated by our designers that we send it to our brands.
And can the brands come back and tell you that I don't like a certain print and I would like to change it? How much time does that take? Is it a manual process, or is it like done quickly?
It's changing a prompt, and in a lot of times we just want it to be a co-creative process, right? I mean, we don't want to be in the driver's seat. You are in the driver's seat. We're just kind of helping you kind of guide the systems to take where you want it to go
and do production faster and better.
And of course, and then we help you end to end from there, taking the tech pack, finding the right vendors for you, the fabric vendors for you, the trims vendors for you, and giving it all as a service, right? I mean, just the way software or cloud is provided, we think this is almost like a cloud service for manufacturing.
So, okay, you're moving too fast. We understood. Now, let me summarize this. The design process, Fynd design as a service, is essentially you understanding the brand's guidelines, ethos, and doing a brand explosion for them according to their categories, according to what they want. What happens post that? Now, I understand that, the designer's output, the designer's throughput when it comes to designing in a traditional way would be, say, 30 to 40 designs a month, while you give 100 of designs in days. So I've done my designing bit. I'm a brand. I want to start. I've done my designing bit. Say I'm doing a category t-shirts and something for the Gen Z. My typical age group would be somewhere 18 to 25, right? Now, I don't have a vendor. And what I have heard from a lot of brands that I have spoken to, they said that the biggest problem that they face is low MOQs. There is always a delay when it comes to brands receiving the products. In their warehouse, if Diwali is upcoming or festive season is upcoming, where does Fynd come into the picture? How does Fynd help? And tell us about your sourcing platform. Make it very, very simplify it for our audience.
All right. So once design is done, and which is kind of the part where most amount of thinking, taste, all of that kind of is considered. After that, it is just figuring out the right partner for you to manufacture, the right fabric, the right trims, the right quality. That's something you need to define. In the last 2 years, we've onboarded close to 1,200 manufacturers across the country. These 1,200 manufacturers manufacture everything what typically sells in the country, right? We got knitwear, we got denim specialists, we got kidwear specialists, we got ethnic wear specialists, we got ethnic wear specialists, which are kind of special arts of the country as well. When we onboard these vendors, we also kind of put in systems to keep a track of what their daily throughput is, how much they're sending, shipping to stores, how much they're shipping to warehouses, are they shipping it on time. We created the whole process to be completely digital. So we kind of send it to the GST portal, we send it to e-invoice. All of this is kind of one-click work for them. So there's a lot of heavy lifting we did to completely digitize all the processes that are required from tech pack to manufacturing. Now the question is, now you're a brand, you've made your designs with us. Now how do you go manufacturing with us? And low MOQ is a real problem because no one wants to work with a small. Everyone wants a large
quantity,
large quantity to work with. Now because we act as almost like that aggregator of demand, it allows us to kind of use that leverage over the garment manufacturers. The garment manufacturers also understand this, right? When you are getting these next generation brands to kind of work with you, today's small brand is going to be tomorrow's
large retailer,
large giant, and everyone starts small, right? There is no way you can start really large. And then we have helping the ecosystem from both ends, helping new age brands, helping established brands, establishing old garment manufacturers, helping established upcoming garment manufacturer. And all of this is done on the backbone of a solid data platform, a solid AI engine of tracking, looking at where things are going wrong. And we kind of bring the whole ecosystem together.
And you have got good traction from the manufacturers. They're loving these small drops, or they are sort of...
I mean, when we launched it early this year, I think that was a big change in the ways of working for the manufacturers, right? And I think initial few days it was a big hiccup for everyone, because we went from kind of large batch manufacturing to small batch manufacturing, which required these manufacturers to ship continuously, because now you are wanting to make small batches and keep continuously shipping directly to stores. At that point in time, it created a new way of working for these manufacturers, and it created a lot of chaos in their manufacturing flows, a lot of entropy in them. It's only a few months later on when we started speaking to them again, that's when we realized the benefits of doing that. So they were much happier, because now shipments were going continuous. Because shipments were going continuous, they were getting capital continuous. So the working capital requirements kind of went down, because small batch manufacturing had started. When something went wrong in a batch, it could be very easily corrected in subsequent batches. You didn't really have to kind of discard the whole batch when they were doing these large turnkey work. And all of these things were kind of something which we didn't anticipate when we did it. It's only when we spoke to them, they started telling this, we're becoming better because, our working capital requirements is reducing, our QC is becoming better because, it's becoming small batch manufacturing. So those are kind of the secondary effects of things. Now, when we see all of this at scale happening across 1,200 vendors, it gives us great pride for all the work that we've done in the last 2 years.
So you mentioned QC, and you mentioned that the brands have the vendors have their own, the manufacturers have their own QC. Can brands also send their own QC to your manufacturing unit? Is it allowed? Is it not? Or do you have your own person going there and doing this?
From a brand's perspective, we want to take that guarantee of a service level. We want to guarantee the quality level. We want to guarantee end-to-end the delivery into your stores. For really large retailers that we're working, especially the global ones, they insist the process to be audited and verified at site as well. So we are completely open to that as well. It's almost like someone coming and checking, if our data centers have backup power in some sense.
And how do you do a QC of the manufacturers? You mentioned 1,200 manufacturers that you have on your platform. What do you see? What are the certificates that a manufacturer needs to have? What are can a brand say that this, for example, in kids wear, right? There are specific colors or lab dips that the test needs to go out? Is that something that is vetted by Fynd, or is it vetted by the
Every
manufacturers?
vendor which gets onboarded onto the platform has this long list of declarations plus capabilities that they need to declare. Everything is verified and everything is continuously
Monitored.
verified. There are labor laws that we need to ensure that the manufacturers are following. There are environmental laws that we need to ensure that they are following, and then overall end to end we are also ensuring that the whole value chain is sourced ethically. So that's also something that we are continuously monitoring and auditing.
Okay. And so I have done my designing with you, and I give you that, okay, Farooq, here are the tech packs. Please go ahead and do my manufacturing. But do you also provide for pre-production sampling to us? What if it gets rejected? What is the process there?
All right. I mean, it's something which the brands kind of want to, decide. A lot of times they want to see it before they make it. We can make a small pre-production run and send it to the brands to verify it. We see this happening, especially when a brand wants to take a large bet, and a bet which is like a seasonal bet. A pre-production sample is almost like a must-have to do. Things which are kind of a continuous run, things which we know are not going to be too innovative, it goes direct to production.
Before we start talking about fine design services and sourcing platform, I would want to understand that if a brand comes to you for the first time and they don't have any clue where to launch, which country, what product to launch, what category to launch, how do you sort of understand what the brand guidelines are and where to begin?
All right. So this is where what the brand wants to do needs to be really defined by the brand itself. Okay. Right. Once they defined, what their kind of North Star is, we have this internal AI agent called Miranda, where we prompt exactly what the brand wants to do, and it has all the guardrails built in so that it kind of gives you real answers, doing deep research and figuring out what works for that brand, and then it starts giving you recommendation backed by data, some predictions. Now this is where the brand have to bet what will work, what might not work, and this is kind of an iterative process. With Miranda, we have kind of completely taken away the guesswork out of it, and kind of given you kind of a canvas for you to kind of work around building your brand ethos for the future. It's still kind of provided as a service now, but we will kind of open it up as a platform very soon. And Miranda is also especially useful when brands want to launch in geographies that they have never launched in. Right? Just imagine if an India brand wants to go to the US. How does the size chart change? How does the fabric change? How does the silhouette change? How does the trends of that region affect your thinking? So we provide all of that intelligence also to the brand.
All right, that's supremely interesting. We have done the trend research of our brand, and now let's talk about more on the launch playbook. So again, role playing. I'm a founder. I want to launch streetwear. What do you reckon I start with? What should be my ICP? What are the data points that I should look at in terms of should I go 18 to 25 years of age? Should I go Gen Z? Should I go millennial? Should I do everything? I don't know. I'm confused. So how does Fynd help?
So the question that you're asking, what I call a founder's leap of faith. You will have to take those. I mean, as a founder, you'll have to take those leap of faith of who you want to serve. Once you have decided who you want to serve, right? Let's imagine you say I've decided to serve 18 to 25 year old streetwear or skatewear. If you want to kind of go into that area, once you have decided that, come with us using Miranda, using our other systems. We will create you that mood board. We'll create you that complete collection. You select what works for you. We would recommend that you start displaying this out and testing it out in the market. Either run small campaigns on Instagram, or either
without producing anything.
Without producing anything, right? I mean, you sell it before you make it. Test it out in what works, right? You could even think of how your collection is getting traction on social media to decide what should you go about making. Or you feel that mine's a brand that I am 100% sure that's going to work. figure out how you can create small drops, go to market faster, make small batches, get into the market faster, create this almost, sell hot sellers, and not, flood the market with too much. Once that playbook is kind of set for you, you then know what are things that have become core to your collection that you can keep making over and over again. And on top of that core collection, how do you create these new drops that brings excitement into your brand? And when you work with Fynd, we take care of you from trend to design to manufacturing.
So what if I do not like the designs that you make for me? Are there iterations which are allowed?
Oh yeah, I mean, we can help you kind of make new version of this. Of course, when you work with us, when you try to give an output, we give you a few iterations as part of that. But if nothing works, we're happy to go on the whiteboard and make another one for you.
And okay, I just decided to do designing with you. I do not want to do manufacturing with you. And what are the questions that I should ask as a brand to my factory to ensure that, or my manufacturers, to ensure that I get the products on time? Is there some between the lines reading that I need to do while making an agreement with them? Can you help me out with certain queries?
Pitfalls of working with manufacturers.
Directly.
Directly. Well, things which we have heard while working with vendors, and both from a retailers and a brand's perspective, and that's something kind of that's plaguing the industry, is that we don't keep our promises well as manufacturers. What we don't keep our promises are, we don't adhere to timelines, we don't adhere to quality standards, we don't adhere to labor laws, we don't adhere to environmental laws. It's a long list of things that we don't keep our promises on.
And what is the smallest MOQ? What is the smallest MOQ that we have to start with while working with Fynd in terms of once our tech packs are ready? Also, is it a plug-and-play service that I can give you my designs, you create tech packs? How does this entire model work?
All right, so questions first. The platform is almost like a buffet. We've kind of decomposed it as services and some of them as agentic systems. So you can almost like pick and choose what works for you. Very specifically for designs, we expect at least a brand to take 50 designs from us, because then they kind of make a good cohesive collection. We also don't want to get into this very small manufacturing cycles. We've also decided we need 150 units per design to get into manufacturing, where it is kind of a win-win for both the brands as well as our manufacturing partners.
So, you have spoken a lot about how brands who are starting out or standalone retailers can win with Fynd's design and sourcing platform. What I want to know about, how are you helping big sourcing houses and large retailers, because they already have the fabric. They typically do not have too many designers, but they know what is going to trend. What is in it for them, and how does Fynd's design and sourcing platform help them?
Okay, so I'm going to break the question in two parts. I'm going to answer it in two parts. For large retailers, we think of it almost like this control plane that we're going to provide, right? We also, for some large retailers, we also provide all of this platform itself as a service, right? So you can plug in your vendors, you can plug in your fabric providers onto the platform. And we are doing it especially for geographies in which we don't have our vendors, which is outside of India. So that platform is also available for large retailers to kind of run their businesses on top of it. More often, we've seen retailers not only see that as a platform from a technology perspective, but also from a service perspective. So we've got large retailers, giving us small lines for them to manufacture. Okay, you make kids wear for us for this very specific.
They're designing bit?
From design to manufacturing, both.
Okay.
And the good part about that is we are giving them complete visibility of the whole supply chain, right? They know exactly when things are got into manufacturing, how much is ready to be shipped, when it is got out of the manufacturer's house to get shipped out. So all of that transparency is made available. Things like these were sporadically available somewhere. We've kind of made the whole process also very transparent for both parties, for the manufacturers as well as the retailers. There's a complete visibility of everything that is getting manufactured plus everything that is getting shipped. We also help retailers with insights on what additional to manufacture. A lot of retailers, block fabrics, and they need to figure out, what to make of those fabrics. So the silhouettes, the designs, the prints is something that we then kind of recommend. Our long-term vision is that once we understand the brand and we have their sales data and we know what the customer trends are going to be, we create autonomously creating these designs end to end for them, and they kind of get curated and send it to manufacturing. Now from a buying house design from a buying house sourcing perspective, uh, they use the same platform just the way a retailer would use it. It's just that now they're kind of the players of overseeing everything that's going to happen. So complete visibility on the manufacturers. Some of them want to source designs so they can kind of create that design explosion with us, and work with the partners that they work with. So again, as I said, it's a buffet, so everyone can pick what works for them. Oh, I'll tell you something more, even more exciting. We were meeting a manufacturer based out of Bangalore, and when we demoed the whole platform to him, he was super excited to show this to his son. And the first thing he kind of told us after the demo was over is now he knows now his son can build a brand on the manufacturing capability that he's built over multiple decades. So this is going to become a big push for manufacturers themselves also to kind of become end-to-end D2C brands. This is a trend that we've seen in China become a big thing, and we are happy that we are going to see the same thing in India, and Fynd is going to play a big role in making that happen.
Wow, so you are actually, with the help of Fynd sourcing and design platform, you are actually helping the second generation of manufacturers and retailers to create something of their own without actually spending so much capital or investing so much in people.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing. So you spoke about China, and there has been a lot of chatter about the China Plus One strategy, and can India be the global house that everyone else is looking forward to? What are your views on that? That's the first thing that I would like to ask.
Last few years, the ecosystem has really evolved. Right today, the China Plus One strategy, India is a strong alternate, or probably the best alternate for anyone, be a global retailer or people who want to make in India itself. And the simple answer to that is because the whole value chain exists in India. Right, we are a large agricultural nation. We make the fabrics. We have the fabric to textile ecosystem. We have the garment manufacturing ecosystem. All of it that is now available in India as a one-stop solution for anybody to come and start making garments in India. The value chain across fiber to retail is also evolving rapidly in the country. When we look at why India does not export as much, it almost feels as a missed opportunity in the last few decades. But today, with all the things that's happening on a geopolitical uh, arena, India is poised to come over and become that strong alternate for manufacturing. The government of India is doing great to push the whole ecosystem to make that happen as well.
All I want to ask you is, if a global brand asks right now, why India? What would your answer be?
I think I can sum it up in only one real one line. Apna time aa gaya,
Okay.
right? And this is for us now to really push our advantage. Uh, we have a very strong government. We have a very strong policy framework. Uh, our whole entrepreneurial ecosystem, right? Manufacturers, brands, our ambitions need to now become larger, and this is our time to take the country from 3-4 trillion dollars to the next milestone that Prime Minister has set for us. And there's nothing which we I believe is structurally not possible for us to do, right? Manufacturing is the bedrock of how countries become great, and I'm super excited that Fynd is playing a pivotal role in making that happen, especially for garment manufacturing. uh, yeah, I think it's for us to kind of execute and make it happen.
If you could take two ideas from China's playbook currently, what is the two things that you think is missing in India? And if we can work towards that, maybe India can be in the path to become a global icon in terms of manufacturing.
I think the answer is not really from China. The last few quarters, I've been reading of how nations have become great manufacturing nations, right? How does China become a great manufacturing nation? How does Korea become a great manufacturing? How does China became a great manufacturing nation? Nothing happened overnight. It took multiple decades for these countries to become great at manufacturing. Manufacturing requires immense patience to get the precision, to get that high throughput consistently to happen. As a nation, we also have a large consumption population. So whatever we make for the country itself needs to pass the bar of a large population. I think we are almost there. We just need to ensure that we keep our promises to whatever we commit to our global partners, right? We keep our promises of doing things at a high bar. We keep our promises of doing it at the right time. We do it in the right price. If those things are kind of done, we are on that path to make it happen, right? From China, from Japan, from South Korea, you can really see that if nations decide to become manufacturing powerhouses, they can become so. And structurally, everything is going right for the nation to make it happen now.
And with the GST rationalization that the government has done, what tailwinds do you expect for Indian MSMEs and small brands?
I think the biggest one is the simplification of the slabs itself, right? I mean, bringing it down to 2 slabs makes compliance easy for everyone. The reduction on the rates brings a lot of inputs to the manufacturing cheaper. So that itself also allows us to use capital to do a lot more things. Overall, I think it's the best thing that has happened from a policy framework this year.
Okay. Farooq, so you have discussed about ICP. We have discussed about what is the ICP. We have discussed about sourcing platforms. I want to know, since this product has been in the market since the last 6 months now, 6 odd months, what is the ground results in the ground? What is Fynd seeing on the ground results? What are the CXOs changing in terms of how they run their value retail chain? Have you seen the adoption go faster, slower, or is it still work in progress?
I think from a traction perspective, this is probably the fastest revenue line we are seeing scale up, right? I mean, this is the first time when we have got more inbounds and we got more work than we can actually kind of cater to. A lot of the IPs
that's a good problem to have, isn't it?
Oh, it's an absolutely great problem to have. It's almost like we can't ship fast enough, right? And because we are providing this as a service, because we don't want to just give a product, or we don't want to give an AI agent away and not really look at the throughput, because end of the day we are making clothes that humans are going to wear, and we need to kind of own the whole outcomes for our brands. So we are seeing tremendous traction for this. I can't reveal you numbers. Maybe next year, we'll give you the real, numbers of how this scale. But we're seeing phenomenal traction.
Wow! And does it just stop? Knowing you, I know you're not just going to stop at manufacturing. So if I'm a retailer, I have done my designing and manufacturing with you. My question would be, what's next?
So you manufactured with us. You got what you want to manufacture. We'll give you an AI photo shoot. Why don't you put it on your storefronts? If you don't have a storefront, I'll provide you the storefront. You need to push these products into a warehouse. You don't have a warehouse system, we'll provide you that with Fynd, right? It's almost now where, if you are a retailer, you just need to come and we will give you everything that is required for you to run your fashion brand, from selling to manufacturing to designing, to even identifying and who you want to be, right? So we now will help you across the value chain, and we become kind of this unified platform for both manufacturing as well as commerce.
Wow. So you mentioned AI photo shoot, right? What is the kind of traction that you've been looking at when it comes to AI photo shoot? Are brands adopting it? What is the return of investment? Is Meta flagging the ads? Can you give us some insight on that?
AI photo shoot started way back because that was one of the first things we started experimenting as a company. And I think we've been researching on this topic from way back in 2017. It's only recently where we are starting to get human looking photo shoots.
Is it still work in progress? Because we see a lot of brands that have 3 fingers in their photo shoots, and though the designs look really good, but then the products never arrive. So it's like a double-edged sword for the customer.
It's not so much now, and simply because we've kept a human QC layer on top of that, right? So a lot of the things get generated, but we still need to verify it for authenticity for the brands. What we are trying to also do is, if we can create that sort of a visual inspection agent, right? This process itself can be done by AI. We've not kind of gone there yet. Like one of the predictions that we have is, 2026 is going to be the year of generative photos and videos, right? We will hardly have, real photos of clothes on models. We will hardly have any marketing material which will require a real, a photo shoot or a video shoot in some sense. Very recently, we made an ad for
A real ad?
A real ad for a jewelry brand, and we made it in 24 hours, and that's all we got. We had 24 hours, so we finished it in 24 hours. That gave us an ambition that now you can make that happen for anyone, right? We have a surprise gift for the brands that work for us. We're trying to make an ad for them and give them as Diwali gift this year. Everything all, AI programmatically itself.
If you want to see the ad, it's right there in the description below. Yeah.
Just to show the brands, what is possible, right? I mean, brands which are on the fence now, when they get something like this, they'll not be on the fence.
But these are very tall claims when you say that there will be no human photo shoots and intervention. How do you help the photo shoot agencies who have been already doing that? Does your tool also help them deliver results faster?
We don't believe the creative process will change so much. It's just the tools for the creative process change. We still need someone to give us the vision of what needs to be made. We need art directors to tell us how that vision becomes a reality. It's just that the tool set kind of changes. We do not believe the creative process is going to become AI in itself. Someone still has to go and decide. Humans play that role of why it needs to be what it needs to be.
Can this scale globally, Farooq? You have made everything AI native in your platform currently, be it designing, be it manufacturing, be it AI photo shoot. But can it scale globally? The GDPR, the compliances?
Oh, I mean, it is. We are selling it to global clients as we speak, and as we open up the platform, I mean, we are going to put all the compliances that we do. Just the way our commerce platform is both SOC 2 and GDPR compliant. We're going to make this platform also both SOC 2 and GDPR compliant. We'll also make it multi-tax compliant. So every procurement system that we build will be made for multi-region and tax compliance as well.
Thank you so much, Farooq. That was really insightful. Before we end, I would like you to tell me what is the future that you envision for 2026 with Fynd, with the AI tools that you have been using, and how does it look for retailers, especially in India?
For us, I mean, 2026 is going to be a fascinating year. I think there's going to be a breakout year for us. I mean, we have great expectations from all our businesses, but this business is going to revolutionize how manufacturing and fashion designing happens. We also want to work very closely with, colleges and educational institutes so that we bring this technology at the right time to the right students. So we are fascinated about the future for both this technology as well as the outlook we have with the Fynd design sourcing platform.
So as we wrap up, just in 30 seconds, what is Fynd design and sourcing platform?
Fynd design and sourcing platform is your one-stop solution from going from trends to tech packs to manufacturing and direct to your shelf.
Wow. Thank you so much, Farooq. It has been a pleasure. Yeah.